Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at how to checkmate using the two rooks. Now in this position black has the lone king and white has the king and two rooks. Now white is trying to checkmate the black king. When the black king is in the center of the board, it's a bit hard to checkmate using just the two rooks. So our first job is to chase the king to an edge of the board. So we should choose an edge of the board that we think suits us and try to chase the king there. So I choose this edge of the board. Um, so the first step is to make sure the king does not escape to the other side. That is, king does not escape away, move away from that edge. So first I move the rook here and erects a barrier. It's like a wall. This king cannot move here because the rook controls the entire line or a row, or in chess we call it a rank. So this rook on a4 controls the fourth rank. That means the black king cannot move there. Once white moves, black gets his move, so black has to move somewhere. Black plays the king to f5. Now what do we do? We use the other rook to check here. That is, by moving the rook to h5, my rook attacks the king. The king cannot escape. King cannot move away from this edge because the rook on a4 controls the fourth rank. A mistake beginners would make here is check using this rook. Now, that allows the king to move away from the edge that we are chasing it. So if we check again, king goes back. So white is making no progress. So that is why in this position it is important to check using the other rook. You keep the rook on a4 to build a wall, and you use the other rook to check. The king is pushed further back, but now black plays a attacking move. It not only moves back, it's planning to capture the white rook. Now if we carelessly check using this rook, what's going to happen? The black king is going to capture the white rook. So we got to be very careful here not to rush. So instead of checking using the a rook, we have to take this rook to safety. Luckily, the rook can move a long way. Unlike the king, which moves with just one square at a time, the rook can go any distance within the chessboard. So we would move it as far as possible. I could have moved it to a5, but I didn't. Why? Because if I moved it here, I can't move the next move that I'm planning because I want, sorry, I want to use this rook to check on a6, which I can't if I had rook on a5 because a rook cannot jump over another piece. So that is why I moved my rook as far as possible from the king, but didn't go all the way because I didn't want to block my other rook's path to the next check. Now the black king is desperate to try to get closer to the rooks so that it can attack the rooks, but it moves very slowly, so I can use this rook to check. So I will use this alternate rook moves. Check. Each time I make sure the king cannot escape in the other direction by keeping one rook preventing the king's escape. See, this king cannot move up. So it's forced to go down. Now I keep this rook here, prevent the king's escape path, and deliver the final check using the other rook on a8. Now the rook king is attacked. It can't go here because the rook on a8 controls it all the way. It can't go here because the rook on a8 still controls it. It can't go to c7, b7, or e7 because the rook on b7 controls all these squares. So this is a check and a mate. It's a checkmate and white wins.